Hello, Facebook family. I know it's been a minute or two. Actually, I think it's just about a week. Anyway, um, just had some wonderful home time. I'm back out on the road working like a dog again. Normally, that's what I do. Notice I got a haircut while I was at home. But what I wanted to talk about was what happened on the way home. Now my company's based in Omaha. So I went to go fuel in Council Bluffs, which is right across the river from Omaha. And our fuel station that the company uses, their pumps were down. So I went the other direction to Gretna, which is about, I want to say 20 miles in from the river from Omaha. And I pulled up and their pumps had just gone down. They were busy trying to get parts. Both of the fuel stops were trying to figure out what parts that they would need and how to get them to them. So it was going to be a while before the pumps were up and running because there's a supply chain shortage on pretty much everything, including the pumps for the fuel. So luckily I had about, my tanks were about half. I was just topping off. If I top off, that means I can get further along. But half a tank will get me from Omaha to Dodge City. So that's where I decided to push to. Now, that's about 350 miles, something along those lines. By the time I got there, their truck to fuel their pumps, the tanker truck that they used to put hoses in the ground to put in their tanks, was pulled off on the side in the middle of the parking lot and was being inspected by a DOT officer, DOT Department of Transportation officer. His truck was under inspection. Now, he hadn't even done his delivery yet. So the fuel was there, the pumps were on, but nobody could fuel because the fuel truck was being detained by officers of Department of Transportation. So I got in line, I waited. And I went inside, topped off my water, got supply. I knew I was going to be there for a while. I couldn't go any further. I had less than an eighth of a tank. That was my fuel stop. There was fuel there. The pumps were working. That's what I was going to do. By the time I came out, let me step back. I went into the truck stop and I looked at the people working the cash register. I said, "Man, DOT done picked up your driver." She goes, "Oh, I know. They do it every single time." I said, "What's going on?" She said, "We can't keep up with the fuel. We're running out of it." And so they're filling up the tankers, which makes them overweight, which makes them easy targets. And so when they're checking their weights, they're checking everything else. So when I went out to talk to the guy after his inspection, he had 2 sheets of violations on his truck. He was pumping the fuel into the ground, and in the process, he was sending the paperwork in. And from what I gathered, I could be wrong, but from what I gathered from his side of the conversation, was that they were like, okay, none of that shuts you down, keep going. It's getting hard to get parts right now. I've got I'm not going to talk about that. If for example, if there's a headlight out, or especially on my truck, you lose turn signal light up front, anything in the headlight component, big, huge, I don't know what the name of it is. Anyway, they are not individually replaceable light bulbs. You have to replace the entire unit. And those units alone are $800. So if I have to change out a headlight or a high beam or a turn signal, I'm having to change out all of them. And those parts are on back order. So what are you supposed to do? You either shut down because you can't, because it's a headlight violation, or you keep running. It's a really tough balance. And the fuel stop truck, they were running like crazy trying to make sure that the rest of us truck drivers had fuel in order to continue running the supply chain. So I don't know what the solution is. honestly, I just know that it's an issue. I don't know why it's an issue. And then when I did get home in Arizona, they're having their own issues. Apparently, two of the pipelines that run fuel gas into the Phoenix Metroplex, by Tucson and Phoenix, two of the pipelines are down. Or no, it's not the pipelines. They're doing repairs on the refineries. So those pipes are down because of the repairs on the refineries, which are having problems with getting parts to do that. But they're doing it now before the summer rush, so that they're not going to have as much an issue. In the meantime, the little town where I live, out in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, literally you're having to get onto the Facebook group page for the town to find out where there's actual gas. We went from my home, we went into Phoenix to celebrate activities for my husband's birthday. We stopped at the gas station that we usually stop at because it's cheaper than the Phoenix Metroplex area. They were out of gas. They were waiting for a truck. They said they get the truck in, it fills up, and they fill up, and in 3 days they're out of gas again. They cannot keep up with demand. So they were out of gas, so we decided to go into the Phoenix Metroplex. And the prices there were had skyrocketed. It was like $4.50 a gallon on the outskirts of the valley. So I was like, no, let's go find something cheaper inside the Metroplex. And it was that price everywhere, $4.49 and 9/10 cents. And what are you going to do? We had all these plans for my husband's birthday. We weren't going to throw it away because we couldn't get gas, so we ended up having to pay that price. And we didn't have enough gas to get home if we didn't pay that price. So, just touching base, let you know that apparently there's some fuel issues throughout the country. So my suggestion and what I'm doing now is I'm not getting below half. If I get below half, I'm topping off. Now, this is a normal winter thing for trucking because half a tank will get you, if the roads shut down for 2-3 days, you've got enough fuel to idle and stay warm. But I am continuing that practice even though winter's technically over. I'm going to keep going with that. I'm not getting below a half at this point. I can't afford to run out of fuel, because if a driver runs out of fuel, it's the driver's fault. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I'm having to pay for the service truck to come out and fuel me. And I can't afford that. I got babies at home. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing, go ahead and hit like, subscribe. Any comments, questions, I will answer them. If you have any other suggestions for me to talk about, let me know, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.